All right, let's do another drunken Q&A. Tonight we're drinking a little bit of red wine. Earlier I had about 2 fingers of Crown Royal, so that's what we're doing tonight. So let's get to the Q&A. First, I am a leftist nationalist, cultural civic nationalist. I don't know if I'd call that a leftist nationalist though. Maoist and I. Oh, okay. I am a leftist nationalist Maoist. And I have some questions. What is your opinion about Nasser and Gaddafi? Um, I think they're noble men to a certain extent. I think more so with Gaddafi, he was a bit foolish and a bit of a hypocrite, to be honest. And there's a reason why you get overrun in your own country, and it doesn't matter if foreigners are funding it or anything else. It's I think that happened with Gaddafi. I mean, I don't think it can be denied. He and his family took advantages of the wealth, which is fine. I have no problem with that. If you look at like a Huey Long type character, they take advantage of the wealth, but as long as they're doing what they promised to do, not so much of that with Gaddafi. But at the same time, I agreed with a lot of what he did. I agreed with his defiance at times against the West. Same with Nasser. I think Nasser was a little soft on the topic of revolution and the methodology of it. But I think he had, the best vision for the Arabs that I've heard anyone put forth. So that's what's to be said about him. I think his ideology of the Arab coalition, it was very fascistic. I think this would benefit the Arabs the most to get unified in this sense and to be a collective, cohesive bloc. Of course, they have to respect each other. Now, Nasser had a little problem with that. He would kind of try to over dominate, like Syria. I went in it with the video I did on the Ba'athist Party. I went into it a bit, how Nasser overstepped his grounds with the Syrians. So that was an issue, but I think he had the best picture of the Arab future in his mindset. Why not socialism or syndicalism, but corporatism? It just harms the working class. No, it doesn't. Because I think you can get progression out of corporatism. I think socialism degrades everyone and takes away from full 100% socialism, degrades everyone and takes away initiative, and it stultifies people to only doing what is necessary to get by because the incentive is completely gone. Syndicalism, like I said, it's too open for division, it's too open for debate, be they guilds of working titles or be they guilds of area codes. It opens up the door for a lot of friction with other guilds because syndicalists are broken up in numerous groups. And once again, the video on Strausserism tells you how Strausser tried to address that with an oversight too. But I think corporatism is the best way. I think people above employers and employees should make the decision when it comes to the point where they need to be brought in when there's too much friction between the employees and employers. So I think it's the most functional system. Next, pragmatism or idealism. Pragmatism, obviously. If anyone's watched my videos and my beliefs, it's a lot of it's built on pragmatism. Why fascism opposes leftism and socialism? Because they're international. They tear away at the fabric of culture and tradition and nations and people. Full out leftism and socialism wants to tear away at everything from the race of a man to the culture of a man to the traditions of a man. Tears away at it. And I think it's a very nihilistic ideology that reduces men into numbers, just like capitalism does. So that's why we've always opposed leftism. Of course, there's agreements. Like I would agree more with a communist than I would with a capitalist, of course. But that cosmopolitanism, that internationalism, it doesn't work. A, it doesn't work. B, it destroys true diversity, and I appreciate true diversity. I love the fact that there's different races in different countries. And I think they should all express themselves uniquely. I think that's fucking awesome. But Internationalism, i.e., leftism and socialism, and doesn't do that. At least ideologically, they don't do that. Now, when we get to pragmatism, we see all these communist states, be they China, Russia, Cuba, North Korea, they get very nationalistic because that's the pragmatism coming in. So, all that Karl Marx bullshit, it's all fucking idealistic bullshit. It doesn't exist in the real world. So, that's why we're against it. And they're against it themselves when they come to practice. I mean, in a lot of aspects. What does fascism think about class conflict and working class? Well, of course, in a capitalist society, this class conflict exists because you have corporations hoarding the wealth. And yeah, so of course they create that, which opens the door to communism, of course. But what does a fascist think about class conflict and working class? First, all of us are working class, be you white collar or blue collar. That's how the fascist looks at it. And as far as the class conflict, there shouldn't be conflict amongst fellow citizens. We're all one party. That's the fascist mindset. It's not about what job or title you hold. It's about the nation you're a part of, or the race you're a part of, or the ethnicity you're a part of. Whatever the fascism in your country defines it as, it's about that. And that's our unifying factor. And to be divided over currency, it's like it's an alien thought to a fascist. It doesn't even exist. It's trifling to think like men could be so low that it'd be occupied with that shit, which is meaningless in the long term. Why did you choose fascism? Please answer. Because I think it's the best way forward. Because I think I did a video, which I'm going to redo as far as the audio, called Star Trek or Idiocracy. That video will completely explain why. Because I think fascism is the best way forward if we have the goal of what's been labeled the Faustian ideal, if we have the goal of ascending as men, of conquering space, our oceans, and everything else, if we view life as a mission instead of just randomly here to indulge ourselves in hedonism and pleasures, if we view life as something beyond that in the material, in this physical world we live in, that is fascism. We're striving towards that, unified, together. So that's why I took fascism. I think it's the best way forward. I think it makes the most sense. I think the third position philosophers defined our politics the best and what it should be about. It is about man. And it's about man improving not only himself as an individual, and they create a society that helps you do that, but it's about men improving themselves as a collective as well and having unified goals, which bind us together even more so, even much more so than turmoil in socialism or individualism in capitalism. So that's why I'm a fascist. All right. Hey, Culture Thug, I wanted to know your thoughts on Varg and what I would call at his point his cult following that preached this destined collapse that will solve everything. Of what I don't know at this point, since they have preached financial resources and every other idea in the book that will cause a collapse. Of course, this doomsday scenario has been around since I've been a little kid, and I'm damn near 40 right now. So I've been hearing this shit. Oh, it's coming to the end, bro. And once it does, rah. I always say people are going to get old and die waiting for that moment. I personally find it pretty dogmatic to put a lot of faith in some catastrophic event. Not only is it dogmatic to put some fate in some catastrophic event, it's 100% bitch made is what it is. Oh, we can't take power, so we're going to hide away and wait for everything to fall apart. It's not going to fall apart. This shit will run on fumes long after we're gone. If like I said, I got to put on my little gab. Don't fucking ride the tiger, be the tiger. We have to create the society we want. We can't hope for fucking shit to fall apart and then we're going to do something. If we can't do something while it exists, we're not going to fucking do anything while it's gone. So no, we have to take the bull by the horns. I don't like the whole idea of the fucking let's retreat and shit will fall apart and it'll be Mad Max sooner or later, bro, and then we'll win. No, we won't. We can't even do shit now when we have the access to everything, and we think we're going to do shit when we have access to nothing. No, sir. Yeah, no. I don't buy that at all. I even view that as a form, as a layer of cowardice to fucking just shirk away from all responsibility in society. You can hide from this shit all you want. It will reach you sooner or later if you don't kill it. So that's where I'm at. I'm saying we need to fucking kill this shit because you can't run from it far enough. It will reach you sooner or later. I find it pretty dogmatic, put faith, blah, 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 catastrophic, that has been preached about for decades or even centuries. Yeah, exactly what I was saying. So I also don't get how these people know that the system will collapse and they at least don't know, will it or is it themselves for their own benefit. Yeah, exactly. That's why I think there's a form of cowardice involved into it. It's not like, what am I going to have to do in the future if there's no fucking party to join or anything? Like, I'm going to run for office. I would love to go fucking live out in the Midwest somewhere and fucking just grow veggies and shoot guns and train my kids and hide out there. But I know it would be a lie. I know it'd be a lie. I know if it didn't reach my kids, it'd reach their grandchildren sooner or later because we didn't kill what exists. We, like faggots, hid and said, oh my God, it's going to fail. We'll hide until it fails. Then we'll come out and be men. No, fuck that. I'm not with that. And I like Varg. I like a lot of what Varg says. I think we have a lot in common in a lot of ways too. And I also like people that go live like he's living. But to preach, this is the way and this is how it's going to happen, I don't agree with that at all. So don't construe it as I'm thinking Varg is fucking cowardice or anything else. This is what he truly believes. But no, that's not. And it is kicking the can down the road. And it's not a winnable thing to wait for shit to fall apart to do something. We do something. We need to build to do something while it's around. We need to win it. We need to win it. We just can't hope for it to fall apart. It's not going to fall apart until it eats us all apart. So, no. But with that said, like I like Varg. Like I said, I like his channel. I subscribe to it. I like many of his rants and what he says. But with that ideology, no. That's why I'm a fascist. Of course. I would fucking be off, some survivalist bullshit if I wasn't, right? Because I'm a fascist. We're going to fight and win this. Or we're going to fight and die trying to win this. One way or the other is the mentality. I also find it pretty interesting that these people that preach about the collapse all believe that they will all survive it just fine. And even though, like, I haven't read this question since you asked it, so it's like, that's funny, I'm ranting about shit, then you're kind of pointing out. So we're on the same page with a lot of this. Just fine, even though them, including Varg, are connected to the power grid and have internet infrastructure. This is what I'm fucking saying, man. This is exactly what the fuck I'm saying. I get it. I get why it's enticing. I get why LARPing on the internet is enticing. I get all this shit. But you get to a certain age and time in your life where you just can't fucking lie to yourself anymore. You have to realize what you're doing and realize what reality is and deal with that. Also, for people that really care about their people/race and complain about the violence and rapes against them, they sure don't mind almost all of them dying in this collapse of theirs. I know. Because most of these people are truly misanthropic, man. There's no love of anything greater. It's this misanthropic attitude. It is. It's such a, they want all the white lemmings to die, but they care about the white race. I mean, yes. You hear it so many times. Once again, this is why I've taken the path I've taken. Okay? It's like... Also, what do you think about the neo-pagans that are in the same vein that want to return to primitive and idolize the old European tribes? I believe that these people are just LARPers and don't ever bring up the negative qualities of the old tribes. Yeah, I agree with that as well. And some of them won't even bring up the masculinity of the old stuff. I've seen a lot of feminized pagans now that want to overemphasize the female goddesses. It's like, what the fuck are you even talking about? You people wouldn't survive in no fucking Viking village with that faggotry. So, yeah, I appreciate myself personally. I am more in tune with nature. I like to study pagan religions of different brands, and I see a connection in all the ones I've looked at, and I feel something true to the root of myself in paganism, but I understand what you're saying about these new pagans. I completely understand. I would never call myself a part of any pagan religion. I just respect nature, and I think different Gentile peoples of different races have all tried to define life and existence through, I guess, putting names and deities on forces of nature. And I respect that. And I agree with that. I think that is an awesome way to explain who we are and why we're here and try to explain why things exist. But yeah, I'm not into the whole new pagan thing and going overboard. And no. Even Varg himself has the attitude, and I will provide some evidence. I haven't looked at any of your links yet, but I will watch them. The first video will be a video to Varg on him thinking writing made people more stupid and that oral tradition is superior. Fuck no. But you don't need to. I mean, come on. In itself, you can misinterpret what's written, but you can definitely misinterpret what's said from one person to another. They do this study in fucking elementary school where you whisper in someone's ear and it goes around in a circle and it's a completely different thing at the end of it. I mean, yeah, no, it's. Why would he think that he must be too in love with fucking the past? Way too in love with it, way too romanticizing it. And I do that, but I'm accused of that myself, so I get it, but not that much so. Writing made people stupid. Oral tradition is superior, but you don't need to listen to the video. Go down to the first comment, which is pinned, of Varg himself, and see how he replies. I'll let it speak for itself of his character. I'll also post. I guess I have to go fucking look at that real fast, right? If you're talking about that, the first link you put. No shit, I gotta find it on YouTube. All right, hold on. Writing response. All right, let me click on this real fast. Let me do this in front of you.
Yes, you did read the title right.
All right. Oh yeah. I know this guy. I do like some of his videos. Let's see. Okay, sorry, but this video is so dumb and reeks of so much ignorance and stupidity that it's outright sad to watch. You just proved my point that modern man is a fucking idiot. He's a cunty motherfucker, isn't he? P.S. All your arguments are plain stupid. That's why I would want a car in a society. Like, why would I want a car in a society that was not civilized? And you think you live 40 years longer today than you did in the past? Sigh. Well, maybe not 40 years, but there is truth to that. Can you at least just fucking Google it before you make a video showing nothing of how ignorant you are about your past? Yeah, he's definitely gone balls deep on the past. But all right, let me get back to here. Okay, I get your point. Very rude, very dismissive in his statements. Okay, I'll also post a short video where Varg pokes fun at Patreon, but also suggests that his followers go on welfare in past video. I don't disagree with him about that. In fact, like, I always got caught up in the whole white working class thing. I won't take welfare, and all the good country songs by Merle Haggard told me, fuck that, we don't take welfare. And I was thinking, what a fucking dummy I am. We should be bleeding this fucking system. And I still don't. I'm still a dummy. I still don't. I don't work, and I could take welfare right now. I don't. So, I don't know. I'm a dummy as far as I go, but I would advocate it as well. Fucking get on that shit. Bleed this fucking system. If they're going to... Look at all the people that are taking advantage of that system. And you're going to say fucking decent people shouldn't? Fuck that. Fuck that. If they're going to give it to the fucking shit of the society and you're a decent person and you can take advantage of it, fucking do that. So I would agree with him there. I remember watching a video that basically, and I like that he goes after the Patreon people, but I also understand the Patreon people as well. I was speaking to someone who's an alt-right figure, I guess, and a while ago, and he had said he was getting by strictly off Patreon, and I appreciated that to the point where I'm like, okay, at least you can put out your material, and because he was ostracized from any work, he got outed and all this shit, so he had to go through that bullshit, but doxed and all that crap, but he was making a surviving off Patreon, so it's like I had sympathy to that aspect as well. So it's a fine line with that. I guess it's a fine line. It goes individual to individual with the Patreon stuff, but I in a general theme, I would agree that people. Like, oh, pay me so I can give you my opinions. I don't know. But if they get money, they get money, I guess. People people are becoming millionaires off gaming and talking shit while they're gaming. So, What are you gonna do? Um, da-da-da. I remember watching a video basically, okay, he's in a system collapse. Okay. Anyway, sorry if this came off as a question with rant. We agree on a lot of the rant. That's the thing. I just also wanted to post my own opinions and get the feedback. Appreciate the work that you do, CT, and I don't expect this to be answered in the video. Oh, but I just did. I just did. Why wouldn't you think it's a long ass question? Why would you think I'd have to answer it here? I just like to hear your thoughts on the topic, and I do have other questions that deal with economic class cooperation. By your alt right rants, kind of made me think about these issues that I have experienced with peoples in these circles. That'd be interesting to hear. So, yeah, keep them coming then. Let's go into that topic. What are you talking about there? I actually just had, like I think I'd mentioned before, I went out of town for a little bit, and I actually went to a largely alt right gathering thing that my good friend who I've known for many years, I've mentioned him before in my rants, like he had gone balls deep into this scene, and he created a fucking great community in this state. I got to give him credit, man. Because everyone I was meeting was educated, was passionate, was coming from good walks of life, and were intelligent people, and it enough to my fucking surprise. Uh, I ran into anywhere from 6 to 8 people just through conversation. Like, holy shit, you're that fascist guy from YouTube. You fucking turned me on to fascism. So that was fucking cool just to meet random people and get that out of there just through conversation. Like, I'd say the same line. Maybe I said it in a video and you'd see it. Like, it'd click. You're like, holy shit, I know who you are. So that was good to see. That the little channel is getting out there and getting people to understand the ideology of fascism. So, of course, there was interesting conversation on numerous other things. Same old shit I'd rant about here. But all right, let's see if we can get another one out the way. Okay, I don't want to seem like a selfish prick. I'm not per se asking, but giving you advice on what could be interesting and beneficial for you. Since I relatively recently joined a small political party, my question is to you, is it worth it? No. I have a friend who was already a member, and I ignored it at first, seeing it was only vaguely right wing, more conservative in its official ideology than anything. But then I got to meet the people, and from there, and they seem all right or at least interesting. The party has no real future, but I thought it'd be good to connect with people. Yeah, it would be good for that, to connect with people in it. Follow-up questions. Do you have any advice going forward? How should I act within the party? Act like yourself. How could I turn the edginess of the members towards something more fascistic? See, that's the huge leap. Because I see this with becoming something more edgy to something more serious. That's the huge step. How does that happen? That has to happen within people themselves. Because I see a lot of that, and it's. I think there's a point because a lot of the new crowd now, within the last couple years, have become awakened or red pilled, as they'd say, about a lot of these things. So they're gradually making the steps. There's gonna become a point, whether I don't know, however long into their awakening, where they're gonna have to start getting serious, where they realize edginess just isn't gonna do it, trolling just isn't gonna do it. They're gonna have to start becoming better people themselves if they want a better world. And I think this will cut the fat from the steak, because the people that can better themselves will continue to move forward and look for people who do the same, and the people that can't will fucking fade away or remain trolls online. So it's good. Meet with people, try to meet with people, build connections in your local area, for sure. How are you going to force them out of their edginess? Just push, origins and doctrines of fascism. Give them third position philosophy. If they can read it or understand it or watch videos on it, maybe that'll entice them to become something more serious. But outside of that, they have to make that decision themselves. So it's you can lead them to that, but like they say, you can lead the horse to water, but the horse has to drink it itself. So that's what has to happen. Lead them there, but it's going to be up to them. And A lot of people won't be up to that, and that's fine. But there does need to be a vanguard, and a vanguard does always exist. And I think we're in a stage where a vanguard is awakening, being formed, and coming to realization of itself. And I don't mean like a unified vanguard. I mean people that are just fucking sick of it, and they're gonna have to start running for positions and putting their political ideologies out there because there's no other choice. We're just gonna slowly die if we don't. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Plant seeds, man. Plant seeds. Try to get them. I find, at least with me, how it worked. Once I got impassioned by third position philosophy, I started trying to live up to it and started bettering myself. And of course, I had numerous setbacks and numerous failures, numerous dragons to slay. Sometimes I slayed them, sometimes the dragons slayed me, but I always came back to fight again. And we'll all go through that. We all have our weaknesses. We all have to deal with it. Like I've gone from fat to fit like 4 or 5 times in my life, and even like a couple years ago, I thought I had it beat. Then boom, I fell right off and did it again. It's like, how the fuck did I do this to myself? What is it that's doing that? So I'm still trying to crack that fucking shell to why I keep self-sabotaging once I hit my goals. And we all have things like that. And it's like it's overcoming those. But these are personal battles people have to take on. You can lead them to that. You can give them the tools to use on themselves to address that. But it's only up to them. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing and just plant seeds within yourself and within them. Hey, Culture Thug, what do you think of the philosophy of Jocko Willink? No, hey, Culture Thug, do you think the philosophy of Jocko Willink is kind of fascist? In even a way, I doubt he would ever see himself in that way. Yeah, very much so. But yeah, he would never see it himself. He would be horrified by, being attached to that. But very much so. And I agree that violent revolution would not be possible almost anywhere. If fascism did take power, don't you think there would be a global intervention to stop it or embargo to crush it? Kind of what happened to Cuba, even though they're on the other side of the political spectrum. Would love to know. Cheers from Switzerland. No, because I think what's going to come in America is not going to be called fascism. I think it will be fascistic. And the enemies will call it fascism, of course, but it'll be totally Americana. It'll totally be built around some sort of Americana. The leftists always say that fascism will come in the cross and the flag. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. But it won't be fascism. It won't be people calling themselves fascists. It'll be very third position in philosophy. And we saw this with Donald Trump. I keep going back to this because this was the moment that this was the catalyst, I believe, that changed everything. So it's I think it'll be like that. So I don't think they'll attack it because they didn't attack us for Trump, even though Trump is a capitalist and half-asser and blah 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 and all this shit. They still presented him like he was Mussolini or Hitler himself, and he still won, and nothing came of it. No one can fuck with us, and military might. And on top of that, if we did become nationalistic, a lot of these countries would fucking be happy we did. So, a lot of people would be supporting us. And then hopefully it'd free up Europe to make its own decisions. So, no, I don't think we have that. I think we more have to worry about the people within our own country than anyone else. I'm at 30 minutes here. Let me see. There's a lot of questions. I'll get to them. Maybe I will get to another one tomorrow. I don't know. But there's a lot of questions to get to. I got some. If I fucking hearted you and didn't reply, that means I'm getting to it sooner or later. So it is what it is. Once again, gentlemen, cheers. Cheers, guys. Until next time.